Are we live? Here it is.
420, 420, for 20 long years. I smoked lots of reefer and drank lots of beer. Every day at 420, we're going to settle this score. And for 20 long years, it's been 20 past 4.
Yes. Hey, thank you, Vince Herman, for my little ditty theme song there. I got to figure out how to lay it in a little bit better on the sound quality. Hey, everybody, it's Monday. It's a new day. It's a new era. It's a new life. We've got our groove back. All of a sudden, in one weekend, we had one of the most amazing weekends of the year. I mean, what was more celebratory? Look at everything that's happened in the past since we came live to you Friday. We have a new president. Joe Biden, congratulations. Well done. I didn't doubt it. I called it on the show on Thursday. A lot of you didn't believe me. Maybe you were waiting to hear CNN say it first. But at 420 Live, we don't wait for the networks. We're on the cosmic wavelength. We have a direct hotline to God right here, just like the Blues Brothers. Right here in the old office, I have the hotline, and I got the call. I laid it down. It's very, very, very exciting times. I mean, we drove around West Hollywood. I did post it on my IG Live, the drive down West Hollywood through Santa Monica Boulevard. It was a celebration in the streets. When people party like this, it's usually because some dictator died, like Hitler or Mussolini. All we did was elect a new president, and let's face it, folks, as all the supporters say, it's not over. There's fraud. Well, there might be fraud, but you know what? Today on Fox, Neal Cohen cut away from Katie McEnany, heavy on the ninny, nincompoopin', cut away from the press conference saying that these are unfounded allegations. And if you're going to talk about cheating and you're going to talk about people winning the election by fraud, you better have some evidence other than you just going up there and having a press conference. And, the highlight of the weekend, Four Seasons Home and Garden Center. They're selling T-shirts now, folks. You can go on and get your T-shirt. Speaking of T-shirts, I got my Tip Top T-shirt on. Today we have Neal Cohen from Tip Top Cocktails. I have a couple in the fridge chilling right now. Usually I'm hitting the old vape pen. The 710 Oils vape pen. I was hanging out with my friend Bradley this weekend. What a visit. Holy crap. It's like going to the Willy Wonka's house. Of cannabis. But anyway, what else? Oh, that Saints game, let's face it. Sports this year has been really telling. LA, Dodgers, Lakers, what's going on in the NFL right now. And, more COVID cases than ever. It seemed like COVID took a backseat to the election, but that's only because everybody wanted to stare at a guy in front of a map. Congratulations to geeks everywhere. You are now the heartthrobs. You guys that stare at maps and count numbers are the heartthrobs. The TikTok generation is down with the thinkers, the minds out there. So it's interesting to see. My daughter's plugged in. Like she's like, yeah, Steve Konecki or whatever his name is, and John King, and how tall they are, how old they are. It's like these TikTokers are relentless. My daughter's literally learns everything on TikTok. I think instead of school, everybody's going to go to TikTok University. They're just going to learn a bunch of stuff like how to make creme brulee and how to fix a flat tire with a wine cork and stuff like that. We're evolving. We're evolving to the next generation. And speaking of evolving, there are some show notes, folks, as we hit the 420 mark of our 420 show. We're going to be moving time slots. How about that for some news? We're going 420 East Coast. So that'll be 120 West Coast. I'm moving the show up 3 hours. Yes, it's been requested many times. I did a pilot test last week on Wednesday to talk about the election results. And I wore a tie, and it was fun. And, it's getting dark here by the end of the night. So you're just like, what am I going to do? It's dark out. All my energy's tapped by 4:30. So we're going to be going to you live at 4:20 East Coast time, so we could be coming to you in the daylight, and I can have some daylight left. And I think that'll be good because I'll be able to reach out to some of my European friends to be on the show, because I have a whole slew of people out there that I haven't hit up on the continent or been bugging to be on. But as you know, a couple of weeks ago, I had my friend Neal Cohen from Tip Top Cocktails slated to be on the show. And, Mercury retrograde, which I'm very happy to report, we are out of the shadow now. It is behind us. You could feel the weight lifted off our shoulders. But a couple of weeks ago, I was supposed to have Neal on the show. And in 5 shows, I had 3 guests cancel. And that's why you saw me going alone, just me smoking weed last week, because I was talking to myself. Because I'm like, all right, I'm going live anyway. I don't care. I know how to do this. I can keep myself and my viewers entertained for the amount of time it is. Neal got hit by the remnants of the hurricane and was without power for 24 hours. Our friend Rob Steinberg was going to be one of my other guests. He's going to come on and play Jerry Garcia. Our thoughts out to the Steinberg family, to Rob, having a couple family things going down. And we're just always in the corner of our friends who are having any kinds of issues out here. That's why we started this show, folks. It was to reach out, communicate in a time when we were going to be down, when there's not going to be anybody out there to talk to. I figured we would get together and talk. And I have a lot of friends that have made pandemic pivots. This show is a pandemic pivot. It's what I'm doing instead of taking pictures. I saw the news today, the great news, and the stock market go up because of not only Joe Biden winning, but because we now are going to have a pinprick 90% accuracy from Pfizer. And I heard it also will make cure your erection dysfunction to erectile dysfunction as well. It's a 2-for-1 prick from Pfizer. But the dad jokes are getting bad. Anyway, my friend Neal Cohen started Tip Top Cocktails around the same time that this shit hit the fan. My friend Chewy in Nashville, he started also in Nashville, started this company called Also Organics. I have all these friends that have started these pandemic pivot companies in the middle of everything going to hell. And canned cocktails just happens to be one of the hottest market segments out there right now. Who would have thunk? Great timing. If you've seen the Keurig now has those little things, you pop your cocktail in. And Neal is hitting a hot market right now. It's been featured on Goop. It's been all over the place. My friend Neal Cohen worked at Superfly for many years, and he's sitting right here. And as we say hi, Neal.
Hey, Jeff.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm doing good. I like being able to say I'm doing good. I usually say never better, but this year it's been a little bit harder to have that roll off the tongue the way it needs to. But right now I'm doing pretty good.
You're in Nashville, right? Did I get that right?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay, that's right.
So and it wasn't just 24 hours of power outage. It was 4.5 days.
You were without power for 4.5 days?
4.5 days, yeah.
How was
that? You realize how vulnerable you are. Got my 2 kids, like trying to give them a bath at night in cold water. Things got a little dark, quite literally. But we're out of it, and it just feels like every week is another volume in this year. So, but we are on a lighter side now, and it's good to see you, man. We were texting over the weekend planning to do this, and I was actually up at Lake Lanier outside of Atlanta on Saturday when the news broke, and so me and my wife, we're just yelling into the woods. And it was like, I knew there was so much energy like out there, but like I had to like harness it in this one place. So it's good to be able to share that energy with you now. And
what did you think that Atlanta? I'm going to grab your cocktails while you answer my question, but because they're in the fridge. But did you think that Atlanta was going to? Did you think that Georgia was going to tip the other way?
That's a good question. I had faith, but I've been in bubbles before. I feel like looking around, obviously. So I just moved back to Atlanta in 2018. I spent 7 years in New York when I was working with Superfly. So coming back to Atlanta after 8 years, the film industry had boomed. The Beltline had really expanded, a lot of like in town culture. And I just feel like there was a lot of change here. So I came in 2018, which was the year Stacey Abrams came short of / was stolen from. And since then, with her fair fight movement, you kind of felt like the votes probably have been there. They just haven't been counted. I feel like Georgia.
Well, not only that, they're saying that she registered 800,000 people.
Insane. I mean, the amount of, she kind of stepped back from that. She never made a lot of noise necessarily. She just said, I'm going to go and do the work, and it's incredible because I think in this last 4 years, I've certainly learned a lot about knee-jerk reaction and just crying foul and paying attention to every, step along the way and just kind of being upset. But she channeled that energy and she made a meaningful difference, not just in her state where she was aiming to be an elected official, but in the country.
Yeah, well, she and like you said, surreptitiously in the background. Yeah. You didn't hear about it till the deed was done. I mean, that's James Bond kind of shit she pulled off. I mean,
that's some cold revenge.
It really was. And hey, revenge is a dish best served cold. That's what they say. What do you think is going to happen in January?
I don't know. Historically, you can see what usually happens in these situations.
Well, no, historically, it looked like Warren had it coming up.
Right.
He looked like he could do it. And,
more so about turnout for runoffs. Historically doesn't lean in towards Democratic candidates, from my understanding. But
so
I'm hopeful.
What's the voter breakup in Georgia as far as do we know now as far as Democrat to Republican? Is Georgia truly a Democratic state now?
I mean, you look at the map and it's like Atlanta's just like a big blue spot on the map. You got Savannah, you got Athens, you have Augusta, you have these urban centers where you see the blue, kind of the big blue marks, but all around it is red. I mean, it's, rural Georgia is just like the rest of the South.
Yeah, well, impressive. We were very, very pleased, and the count's still coming in. I think it's going to continue to go up. Well, you sent me these a couple months ago. I had to hold on to 3 of them because they were very popular at the house. The kids really
I've got a few over here too.
The girls especially love the size. Now this makes me look like I have giant hands. But
yeah, it's like the Andre the Giant shot of like the Budweiser can.
Yes. It's like he's got it in his hand. It's like, oh, here's my beard.
Exactly.
And the one thing the kids told me was very strong, Dad.
Yeah. Well, what we're looking to create in this can, I mean, it's the cocktail as you would be served it at a bar, and we develop these recipes with a 5 times James Beard, finalist. His name's Miles McQuarrie. He's got a bar less than a mile up the road from where I just moved to in Decatur, Georgia. It's called the Kimball House.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there for oysters with Matt Wilson. That's a favorite location, and it definitely has that feel of a really great bar. I mean, they make amazing cocktails there.
Exactly. So the beverage director there, Miles, he's our recipe developer. He, really strove to create the bar experience as best as it can. I mean, you're not sitting at the bar. It's not freshly made, but you take a sip of this old fashioned, the Manhattan, the Negroni, the proportions, the proofing, all of those things. We spent 1.5 years developing these recipes and making sure that this was going to be, and not just another canned cocktail. There's enough stuff out there that's okay. We wanted this to be really great, and we weren't going to let it be fall short of that. But that said, it's a tiny can, right? This is 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, just right to be able to bring on a plane when you're comfortable doing so again. But it's
are you allowed to bring your own alcohol on planes? I thought that was like a no.
You're not allowed to serve it, but you're also not allowed to bring a flask into a music venue. So there's plenty of people doing it.
Yes.
But they do pack a punch, but it's all loyal to the experience that people have had for 100+ years with each one of these cocktails. Old fashioned, sometime in the 1800s, and Manhattan towards like 1880, Negroni around 1919. These are
classic cocktails that have been around for 100 years plus, and they've come back in fashion, right? I mean, they're hot again. Everybody's like hot for the cocktail experience. Martinis were hot a couple of years ago. They really took a fly, but then getting out of the martinis and into the other stuff, the Negroni. I mean, that's something I don't remember growing up. People drinking it all, and now people are on them all the time. You have 3 flavors, and how many more are you planning on doing?
Well, you'd have to ask my business partner Yoni. He's got new ideas every day, but we right now have no fewer than 6 in development, and the big kind of shift is these are all classic stirred cocktails, and we're going to introduce a few shaken cocktails in the new year. So that's coming up.
And what's the biggest challenge in trying to can a cocktail?
With the shaken ones that are coming, it's juice, it's citrus, right? And ensuring that it's going to taste great, no matter kind of what the conditions are that you're drinking it in. But that's why with the first 3, Yoni and I, coming from the music industry, we didn't, we just kind of wanted to be able to know that we could do it. And we got Miles on board because he's the beverage guy, but we went with cocktails that don't traditionally take juice, that we're going to be fully shelf stable. You look at what's in an old fashioned, and this is going to read backwards, but oh no, there it is.
Yeah, you got it.
We got whiskey, sugar, bitters, right? And it's mostly bourbon. It's got a touch of rye in it. You got the Manhattan is just rye whiskey, vermouth, and bitters. Says it very plainly straight there on the can.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Negroni, traditionally you got Campari, which we've got red bitters on there that we kind of formulated our own version, dry gin and vermouth. And the key, what I'm getting at is we kept it simple. I think that one thing that a lot of our competitors have done out there is just get a little too crazy. Canned cocktails are a fairly new thing that people are paying attention to. And we wanted to deliver on the promise that the category can hold. I think that's why a brand that's only been in Georgia up until August we've only been around for a little more than a year on shelves. But, in August, we went out to Texas, Colorado, and South Carolina, and now we're available to buy online. But we were able to garner all this press over the last year that punched way above our weight class. We're sitting here saying, why is the New York Times and Bon Appetit paying attention and to this brand that's only available in Georgia? And I think, it's just that it sort of delivers on the story that they're trying to tell, is that this is a category that maybe if you were a serious-minded, discerning drinker, you didn't pay much attention to in the past.
Right.
Now here's something that's made for you. Now here's something that sort of legitimizes what you want out of a canned cocktail. So, yeah.
We do have a question. When will it be available in New Orleans? We love cocktails. Plus, you can drink on the streets. You can drink on the streets of New York City now, right? I mean, that's now a thing.
Decatur, right around the corner from me, has got open container right now within the downtown area. But Andrew, thanks for the question, man. We were looking at New Orleans pre-COVID. That was actually in the plans to launch New Orleans in the spring, but everything was kind of restructured. Some of that is, and I don't want to bore you with like alcohol and all of the regulations and things, but in each state you have to have your own distributor, a new distributor in every state. And as soon as kind of COVID happened, all the distributors pulled back and said, we're not launching any new products right now. We're sitting on, hundreds and thousands of,
I guess when all the restaurants and sports venues and everything where they use the high volume liquor wasn't being sold, and people at home can only drink so much. So to answer his question, can he ship them? You can ship though, correct?
Yes. You can have them shipped to New Orleans right now. As of as of a week and a half ago, we launched an online store, services over 25 states, Louisiana being one of them. So you can go to shop.tiptopcocktails.com. It's right there on
There
the
it is,
screen.
right on the bottom. We got the banner up.
The old trusty lower third.
Yes, you got the Tip Top Cocktails banner there. And Andrew, one other question. What about the canned Sazerac? That's like a New Orleans specialty, right?
Yeah. I mean, we already have enough issue of people being like, "Oh, you can an old fashioned? I bet you it's not as good as my old fashioned." You know that a Sazerac in New Orleans is going to get that reaction every time. But Miles's Sazerac, our recipe developer Sazerac, that's one of the things he prides himself on. And you're not the first to ask. I don't think it's the first time you're asking either. And, and it's on the list. Certainly, it's on the list.
Yeah, it's challenging time to launch a business.
It is. I mean, you touched on it though. Canned cocktails serve a real function in this time. You know, people who are accustomed to service, to relaxation. The end of the day, you may like making your own cocktail, but you don't like making your own cocktail all the time. You know, and right now that's the case with everything. I like cooking. I don't like cooking every day.
No,
So,
I don't. The cooking's not hard. The cleaning up is a bitch.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it today. I'm folding laundry. I am doing dishes. I'm helping make dinner. I'm just like Johnny Dad around the house now. I used to be like jet setting rock star photographer, and now I'm folding my undies.
Well, and I was along with you, right? I was running around to the festivals and everything, and had already made the transition into this cocktail business. You know, in 2018, but this was still a business that was going to have me out, right? And was going to have me traveling, and was going to have me at shows, and was going to have me living that lifestyle of connection, of exploration, of just, you know, improvisation. And
I mean, it's a lot easier to sell a product like this when you could take it with you in a suitcase and open it up in a VIP area and start handing it out to people, and everybody going, "Whoa." You know, it's different. We're in a different time, but it's also character building, and it allows you to build a great foundation. And people out there are doing nothing but looking to shop. And especially if you like to drink or you like to smoke weed or whatever it is, everybody's like kicking up their game. Their at-home game has gotten very strong. Everybody's making the bars at home, having the outdoor areas. If you go shopping for any kind of recreational activity, I heard somebody like hot tubs are 6 months advance.
Bicycles.
If you want to buy a hot tub, people are, you know, they're buying hot tubs. They're making stuff work. They're like trying to make the recreate. So you're in a market. You have a lot of big boys in the market. Keurig is one of the ones that I've seen advertised now a lot, and they're selling the cocktail goes into a whole delivery system in their machine, but it's basically just a pre-made cocktail that's squeezed out of their machine, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the mechanics on that. And I mean, the beauty of this, right? I'm not wearing a pocket on this shirt, but this could conceivably, you have a pocket on that shirt.
Yeah,
it fits right in there. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen.
Right in the show.
I'll have my assistant, Jeff, show you, demo it for you right here. But yeah, you know, you pop it in your pocket and you can take it with you. You know, it's easy enough to just crack, pour, and I mean that's an old fashioned right there.
Right, and on the side, I love that you give the little handy information there to tell you what kind of glass to use, and like that's one big ice cube there.
Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words, Jeff. You know that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's good. How did you come up with the giraffe?
So the giraffe was a nice, happy mistake. I mean, for one, we grew up with Jeffrey Giraffe, and he was out of the job, so we needed to give him a gig. He wanted to be a little more buttoned up in his new life. But no, we were just tossing around ideas. You know, it's good for a brand to have an icon. With Bonnaroo, we had the rings, you know, with Outside Lands, we had Ranger Dave. And, you know, it's just one of those things that helps a brand really solidify itself. So we said, all right, what would be right for Tip Top? I mean, for one, a giraffe is the tallest animal, so Tip Top. But 2 and 3 are that we stand for quality and convenience. And so the tallest animal has the easiest access to the top shelf. So it's, convenient access to the best quality, essentially. And then, it's also, we focused a lot on making this can and this brand look super sophisticated, like I said, to stand out from the crowd. You're looking across the Alabama Slammers and the various margarita incarnations and things that are out there, and you hit on this and you're like, wait a minute, like I kind of want to like see what that's about, right? But then we kind of had to take a step back and say we're still just having fun. So like this goofy giraffe and a top hat and a monocle, like that's like let's have a little bit of sense of humor about it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Kiki's working with a branding company, and she's like, Dad, you know what? People would love this stuff, and they're dropping them off to celebrities. So I'm gonna have to put you. Yeah. I already connected you with Kiki because she loved it.
I talked to her today.
Did you?
I talked to her today. Hey, it's a testament to what you're doing. She still thinks you're cool.
Well, she's still under my roof, so.
Well, I mean, she didn't know that the phone was bugged. She didn't have to tell me that.
No, you're very lucky. I mean, you have young kids. You have one, right?
I've got a 5-year-old son, Asher, and a 2-year-old, almost 3 daughter named Galia. Yeah.
Oh, you're almost ready for number 3.
Oh, yeah. Is this the time for these things?
If you're gonna do it, you like them all around. Like 3 under 6 is good. I'm sure you've heard this already from your wife and from everybody else. I like man-to-man coverage myself, but I come from a family of 3. My wife comes from a family of 3, and it's just for some reason it seems to be the way it is. And now the dynamic's incredible. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. So what's the future hold, Neal?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I don't know. That's like a 1-2 punch. You're like, you're gonna have more kids, and what's that?
Yeah, you have more kids, release more brands, but you've obviously hit a line. Goop has picked this up. I saw your press on this. It's really incredible the amount of people that have picked up the brand and helped, and that translates to sales, right? Translate to website visits.
Yeah, totally. And through the holiday season, I'm sure, it'll continue to happen. We know some other press is going to drop, and that's exciting. I mean, truly the future holds is the actualization of the original idea. And this came, my business partner, Yoni Reisman, with, he was one of the founders of Governor's Ball Music Festival with Jordan and Tom. And he had sat really close to the concessions of that event. And in watching kind of the way that demands went there, people wanted good cocktails, and that space is a place where it's notoriously hard to get a good cocktail because it requires careful preparation. And so, I mean, the direct answer is that we want to see these cocktails in more of the places where we want to be, right? And right now we're not, right?
I remember shooting Governor's Ball, and they had the wines like where they were all served in the little cups, and you could buy
the lid thing,
and they all fit together. So like if you picked them up, they all stayed together, which was really cool. But that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that, and I was like, oh, look at this! The people figured out how to get their booze like the perfect amount, and this is just another development kind of in that direction. It's easy,
it's convenience, I think it's festivals. I think it's sporting events. I think it's airlines. That's a big one. That's kind of a white whale for us that we're chasing.
Well, it makes it easier on them because they don't have to worry about mixing the drink. All right, I'm going to try.
Have you ever watched one of those flight attendants try to mix multiple bottles? You're better off putting that on ice, but I mean, cold. If it's cold straight from the can,
it's cold, and it is a martini here. So
that's the Manhattan.
I'm in my office. I really don't have a setup here. I have 3 bongs, and I have no cocktail glass for ice.
No, you know what? The Manhattan though, that's the one that I pop in the freezer and I'll drink. Out of the can. Actually, preferred out of the can or out of one of these trusty coupes here. I'll pour myself one
very
here.
Complex. The flavor is really complex here. I'm tasting a lot of different spices and seasonings and stuff in there, right?
Yeah, you're getting a good hit of bitters in there, and bitters and vermouth are both, those are both traditionally meant to kind of it looks like it's getting you there,
Woo!
Jeff.
I'm gonna have to chase out with a vape.
But alcohol was initially alcohol was initially just used to help to preserve all the herbs and spices and things, right? And so that's where vermouth and bitters sort of originate from. So that's a lot of what you're tasting. You're getting, I mean, it's a 62 proof Manhattan, so it's
strong.
Yeah, it's 31%, man. You have
hair on your chest.
Cheers. Salute.
Cheers, Neal. Good luck. I mean, it's got to be a tough market, but like I said, what you're doing is making it more convenient. People are doing a lot of picnicking. They're hanging outside. Yeah. They're throwing things in coolers. They're going out in groups and hanging outdoors. Yeah. I mean, maybe not on the East Coast, but certainly out here on the West Coast.
No, we did a thing with Jen Hartswick, Jen and Nick, who were on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I think they were calling in from Colorado. They just played at Annabelle's or something like that, right?
Annabelle about to play Cervantes.
Yeah. So we kind of sponsored that little private tour that they were doing. I think they did 10 shows in Colorado in people's backyards, essentially. And they had cases of Tip Top along the way for that. And that was really nice to see. This upcoming weekend up at the Masters, there's the major rager with some of the guys from Humphreys and Ivan Neville and Taz. Taz is doing a James Brown tribute, and we're throwing a bunch of cans at that event, and just getting back out there however we can, right, and kind of mixing it up with the world that we lived in prior to COVID and prior to Tip Top. So
well, they're saying 1 billion of these little pricks are coming out, and they're going to give Pfizer's going to give them to us for free, and they're going to be out in springtime back to normal.
So that's when you get the camera ready. You're going to be out at in the pit again.
I don't know.
I look forward to seeing you in the pit.
Listen, I loved my job. I thought it was really exciting, but I'm not getting any younger, man. It's fucking hard on my legs and my back, my pussy. I'm not going to go there.
You got around good, man. It's like it's one of those like omnipresent people, right? You're walking around the festival. I always love bumping into you. I always counted on you at the end of the night, going back to the marketing trailer at Bonnaroo or Outside Lands, just saying, come on, Jeff, come on. I know you got it. I know you got that shot. I saw you climbing up there on the soundboard just to get that shot. Where is it? Just waiting on it, because I wasn't letting my team go home until we got the shot and put it up on social media.
Classic. And all that stuff came during Bonnaroo. It all came when Bonnaroo started. We didn't have to worry about social media, like to the extent that we did. Now, I mean, that didn't come to about 2007. I was on Facebook. So
yeah, but Bonnaroo, I was part of the team pioneer in that. It was in 2010 with Alan Light and Emily Zemler and a whole crew out there. We were out gathering content, and it would take us 3 hours to put a 15-second clip on YouTube so that we could send a link to Robin McNichol to try to tweet it out. I mean, this was a process that now you talk about TikTok or you talk about Instagram stories, just lightning speed, put it up. And
and I remember going back there when we first got cell phones, and literally you'd have no cell phone service till Sunday.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter. So everybody was out there just like, okay, let's party.
Yeah. I mean, it was always interesting in that role to think about, am I doing this? Are we putting things on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube for the people who are here? Or are we doing it for the people who are, who are trying to get in on the experience somehow and view that? And so, that's where the guys at Superfly and all the partnerships we always had with media outlets to really, push the boundaries on what webcasts could be, on what, an experience of just trying to capture like multifaceted things, like even year round, doing things like like blam, right? It was goofy, and it was, and people didn't always fully get it, but it was about capturing the spirit of that one moment, those 5 days that were electric on the farm, and trying to like harness that energy that people wanted to connect back to in a year-round fashion and tap into it at those moments, right? We're going to announce the lineup. Everybody's going to be paying attention. So let's like throw Weird Al and Portugal the Man on a stage and have someone, what was they were bobbing for, there was just all kinds of nonsense. And, you know, it concludes with a 5-year-old shaving his mom's head on stage at Bonnaroo itself. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, trust me, we need the fun back. It's all going to happen. Yeah. I know it's going to come back. What do you think about Bonnaroo moving to the fall next year?
It's interesting. I mean, I wonder if that's something. Look, I'm 3-4 years removed from being in the room, right? So I don't know. I mean, I think it could work, but it's also one of those things where it's like, all the alignments that made it work for so long, is that what worked, right?
Well, everybody has to re-examine their brand, and I think that part of it is trying to expand the brand. I actually think the VR world is going to be the hot thing, the hot ticket. That's going to be the big expansion, and how to include people in your event that aren't there. You know, they could go and put their goggles on, and they can go there and slip into the virtual whatever.
Have you seen that Portlandia episode?
No, do I got to see it?
It's like a pod. They're in this like pod that like goes and travels to the music festival, but they're still actually on their couch, and it's what you're describing.
Yeah, it's already happening out there now, so it's pretty incredible. It's going to be the next level, because a lot of people, let's face it, there might be a billion shots, but it doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, let's get back at it. I think people are still going to be treading lightly, even with a shot, to try to see what happens out there. But
look, Bonnaroo was ahead of its time, man. This was just to like guard us from the Bonna flu, man. This was actually in March, when everybody was making their makeshift masks before masks were as widely available. This one served me well for a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I had mine out, and then my wife got the sewing machine out, and it was all over.
Yeah,
crushing it. Crazy, Neal. We're in crazy times, historical times.
Times, man. When do you think we'll be back? When are you? You've gone and done some outdoor shows and things like that.
Yes, well, I think that kind of thing, the socially distanced kind of shows, is the kind of thing that needs to happen now. I think that you can test people. They have these rapid tests you do right at the door. CVS in LA and California and across the country is doing free rapid testing if you have insurance or if you were in contact with somebody with COVID. So I think that there's a bunch of ways to be able to socialize with the testing, and I think that that's what we need to do. Is, hey, you're going out, you want to go to a show? It's going to take you an extra 10 minutes at the door to get tested, or you're going to have to show your test from that day or whatever it is, so you can go inside. But I think it's going to be a year. I don't think that we're going to get back at it. Maybe the spring. But then I talked to my friends that are in Nashville working on the CMA Awards, and I said, "How is it?" And he goes, "Well, we're roaming around. We have face shields on." And then just today, one of the guys from Florida Georgia line tests positive, so now he's out of the CMA Awards. So it's going around in Nashville. And I asked him how Broadway was and if there are people down there, and he goes, "Yeah, but they're all Trump supporters. They're all down there without masks." I've never seen the political divide before on health. Usually you make a decision based on health, based on science, based on what the best scenario is. You're not making a decision based on, oh, I'm a Republican, so I'm not going to be healthy, or I'm not going to follow this health advisory because it's bullshit. I mean, you're not a scientist. You don't know. So I think that we all need to err on the side of health. The thing that amazed me about all of these celebrations this past Saturday was everybody in Philly, everybody in LA. Not only wasn't one window broken across the United States, but everybody had masks on.
Everyone, yeah.
You would see the occasional guy with it off the nose or off the chin, but everybody had masks on. And I was like, that's what gave me the most hope about our country right there, was because instead of seeing these mask hordes out there cheering for Trump. I saw people celebrating and partying like Mussolini freaking died with their masks on. Hey, you listen, I've never seen people party like that for a president. I lived in Philadelphia. We partied when the Flyers won. We partied like that when the Sixers won. We partied like that when the Phillies, when Villanova won. We partied like that out in the streets, taking over Broad Street, just everybody happy and just running around screaming. I've never seen the whole country partying like that, from coast to coast, a city in every state going off, and everybody was so happy. I just never saw so many people happy until I hit the Trump supporters in Beverly Hills. I don't know why they picked Beverly Hills, Neal.
Why were they outside? Just stay inside.
No, they're out there, man. They are out there. But yeah, hats off. Here you go. Philly rules. Yes. Philly does rule, and we feel the Philly love. I mean, to watch Philly just go off like that and to be so happy, and that's where freedom started. That's where our independence started, where the Declaration of Independence was written in the Constitution. I mean, Philadelphia was the seat of government of our country, and to see it come back like that, bam! Plus, I'm old school Sixers, Eagles fan. I mean, I grew up in Atlantic City, so these are all my teams, you know? So... Man. I'm rooting for our country. Ultimately, I'm rooting for us. I want
likewise
all to win.
I was on Saturday, or no, on Friday, even as things were when it looked like, you know, Georgia was really waking up on Friday and seeing where Georgia was the first moment of kind of where we were rounding the corner and the momentum shifted. And at that moment, I was packing up my car to pick up my kids and go and jump up to Lake Lanier. I threw on Outcast and I drove down, you know, John Lewis Freedom Parkway with windows down. You know, there's aspects of Atlanta, aspects of Georgia that I've been proud of, music being a big part of it, civil rights being a big part of it. But in that moment, I had never felt it actualized in the moment I was living in such a true and just kind of like, there was nothing contrived about it. I was just riding down the road, just like smiling and looking at my city and feeling proud. And that was an incredible feeling. And it's one that, like, as you're talking about the celebration on Saturday and the exuberance in the street, it's like, isn't that the idealized vision of like what this experiment of America and all these people living together is supposed to sort of feel like? Like, can we figure out a way to like tap into that excitement? Of course, I missed out on it because I was out in the woods during that day. So I just want it to happen again.
Right.
But like, can't we just do that every day? Like, can't we greet neighbors like the way that supposedly my street was just like, you know, everybody's out. Like, my neighbor said that she met someone who lived up the street, that they've lived on the same street together for 15 years and never once spoken a word to each other. Like how do we create that?
Well, you know what?
On an ongoing basis.
Like in California is famous for not talking to your neighbors and keeping to yourselves.
Yeah.
And I live in a very interesting neighborhood. It's like a big cul-de-sac. And it's got like a half-mile track around it, the whole little cul-de-sac. And my wife knows everybody. We know everybody now. We know all the little kids. They know our dog. They come by to play with the dog. I've been sitting there and they're coming out, and the little kids pull up on their bikes and they start yelling my dog's name to come out and play with them. And I'm like, oh, now I got to take the dog outside to play with the neighborhood kid. But it was just something that wasn't happening before, you know, because I'm always running here and running there. And it's been an interesting year to stop and to take stock and try to figure out what's important in our lives and to retool, to get new businesses and to do new things. My new show, your new cocktail line. I mean, you know, we have to figure out a new way to survive because, you know, there's a lot more to life than photography, and there's a lot more to life than concerts, and there's a lot more life to everything out there. I mean, and we can
cocktails,
horizon. Yes. And
I'm saying there's more to life than cocktails. There's also cocktails.
Well, there's also listen, cocktails are ubiquitous, just like kind of cannabis. They're everywhere,
right?
You know, it's a hard thing. I mean, you know, because alcohol has a lot of stigma to it. I mean, the hard thing with alcohol is control, like anything else. You and I have a lot of friends that are in AA that have had a lot of time, a lot of trouble in their lives and dealing with not just alcohol, with other substances too. I mean, substance abuse has been rampant, and it's good to have control and everybody take their time and relax. But when you want to have a good time, to know how to unwind and how to relax. That's why we have this. If I drink any more of this, I'm not going to be able to drive home. And the
I mean, the thing about these to me is that when you get into like crushing beers, like just like that competitive spirit, like to me, like I was in the cheese selling business. I was a cheesemonger at one point, and I remember hearing stats about how much per capita cheese was eaten in France versus the United States. But the difference is that they're eating like cheese and it's super like rich and you enjoy it. Versus like America's like, let's put a pound of cheese on those nachos and like melt it all down. And like, I think with this, it's like, I can have 2 of these and pour myself one.
Well, you've been sure is what you're saying. We're not crushing beers, or you're not playing beer pong, right?
Totally, but you can also just be satiated so much more by a fully flavored and enjoyable thing versus like drinking as many light beers as you can manage to like, fit into your stomach. Like it's a different mentality. And like, that's where, we got a lot of questions when we were doing this. Like, why aren't you doing a White Claw? Why aren't you doing, something that's low ABV? Because that is part of the trend. But like, honestly, like this just kind of had more legs. It's like people are still
the complete opposite direction of White Claw.
Well, and it's not trend. Like these cocktails, they have history and they have a proven track record of being a flavor profile that people enjoy and connect. Like the Negroni, it's 3 ingredients and it takes you on like, all the sort of like foodie culinary minded people, tend to really like Negroni. It's a bitter drink, but it starts off like really with this like refreshing kind of burst. It's bright. And then it kind of gets a little more like rich and has some sweetness to it, not saccharine sweet, but some nice sweetness and richness. And then it sort of finishes with a dry, bitter, like just punch. And that sort of ride that it takes hits on so many of your flavor sort of receptors, right? That it's really satisfying for someone who likes exploring that aspect of their senses. And you can't tell me that there's going to be too many other inventions in the drink world that do that in a well-rounded fashion, the way that these classic historic cocktails have managed to do.
Well, you nailed the flavor profile, and I think that's the most important thing, is to nail it where it's a tasty drink, something it take you a little bit of training to get it home, to get right. And a lot easier when you get home to crack one open and just pour it over some ice. Neal, great catching up. I'm glad that you survived without power. I'm happy for Georgia. The ball's in your court. I was reading how important it was to get those seats. I think Ossoff is hands down a better candidate than Purdue.
There's no question. There's old guard versus a guy who actually has a pulse. And
the old guard, he's corrupt as hell. When I saw that press conference with him, I just couldn't believe how corrupt he was and how he got called on all that. It's kind of beautiful. I feel that the whole world's straightening out, but we definitely need the Senate. And that's in Georgia's hands. I hate to say it.
No, I mean it's a fact.
Not anymore.
It's actually a fact.
Not anymore pressure.
Yeah,
Continued success. Keep us abreast of what's going up there with Tip Top Cocktails. Let us know when you got some new flavors coming out, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Man, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for having me. It's good to be able to connect with people that are doing all kinds of things in this time. And like you said, we're all figuring out new ways to exist and new ways to kind of, have our lives be fulfilled. And this is really helpful. So I appreciate it, man.
You got Robbie Radbill right here. Never had heard of Negroni pre-Tip Top. It's now her new favorite drink.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go. All right. Thanks, Neal.
Cheers, man.
Best of the family. Take care.
Yeah, same to you, man.
All right. Take it easy.
I'll be talking to Kiki tomorrow.
All right. Good. Excellent. Neal Cohen, Tip Top Cocktails. There you go. Thank you, Neal. I have a couple sponsors to talk to you about. Grady's Cold Brew. Grady's in a convenient package. Comes with enough bags in here to make gallons and gallons of iced brewed coffee. If you go to Grady's, use my code 420live and you will get 20% off on your Grady's. This is a big hit at my house. My kids already loved it, and now they got it. They got a supply. I'm like their crack daddy when it comes to the cold brew. So get on the Grady's. And if you want to invest in Grady's, to check them out on their website. You can actually become a Grady's owner, like buy stock and stuff. They have a ton of different great products on their website. Check out Grady's Cold Brew Kit. Use the 420 Live code. Get 20% off on your Grady's. And right from Grady's to Sin Lawn, synthetic lawn. Use your 420 Live code to enter, and it will also enter you for a 11 by 14 print from my collection, your choice. This is really easy, really brain dead. You know, the turf, it's good. Look, it's very fashionable. I like the kid and play look. I have to cut this into a hairpiece somehow so I can just put it on when I do the ad and it just sits on my head. Anyway, Sin Lawn, environmentally friendly. It is an eco product. This is what we use in California because we don't want to pay to water our lawns. I don't have much of a lawn, but I have enough of a lawn where you have to have something out there. So we have the synthetic lawn out there, and it is a game changer. Saved us a ton of money on our water bill. I think that to me is what's really great about it. So get your Sin Lawn, synthetic lawn, get on it, and we're in the new paradigm, folks. We have shifted. We're rounding the corner. You can feel the weight lift off your shoulder. Everybody's breathing a little bit easier. Interesting how everybody is leaving Facebook, all the Trump supporters to go to Parler or whatever Parler is. Come on, we want you to stick around, Facebook. It's just getting good. Like, we got to go to our own place. We can't listen to this. What a bunch of snowflakes. Oh, your feelings are hurt. Like, everybody's like, oh, my feelings are hurt because Trump lost and they don't like us. We love you. We love you all. America needs to unify. We all need to get together, get on the same page. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the shift. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I don't want to go out there and create any more issues than there already are out there. I want everybody to get along. Why can't we all get along? I'm very entertaining on this stuff. Oh, damn. I can remove pain, I think, too. Put some hair on my chest. Wow. Stuff's strong, Neal. Dang. Our friends at Tip Top, thank you for coming on today. Oh, do you want to hear what's happening on 420 Live the rest of the week there, folks? Do you want to hear what's happening? Do you want to hear it? Okay. So tomorrow, Benji Eisen, legendary, longtime fan, talent manager, author, wrote the book with Billy Kreutzmann, helped him write his autobiography. Benji, I've known him for years. I talked to our friend Benji Eisen Wednesday. Oh, we are talking hockey. We have two amazing hockey players on that are doing a podcast right now. Scotty Upshaw and Shane O'Brien are going to come on, and we're going to talk about these guys are huge music fans. I met them at Bonnaroo for the first time. Outside Lands. They love going to concerts and festivals. Huge partiers, great guys, old friends. That's Wednesday. Thursday, we are deep in it with Ethan Miller from Howlin' Rain, and we're really looking forward to that conversation. I love Howlin' Rain. I was listening to today. Amazing band, and they have new music out. So Ethan's going to be on the show. Friday, we were going to be talking to Paul Peck, who is doing the Tipitinas to save Tipitinas. This is what it's come down to. We're saving Tipitinas. So there's a big show on Saturday. Make sure you tune in. We were going to talk about it on Friday, and we're going to have Paul on with a couple special guests. I don't want to tell you it's Ben Elman and maybe George Porter. Maybe, a couple of our New Orleans favorites are going to be on, and we're going to get the lowdown on what's going on for the Tipitinas Foundation and how Tipitinas is doing. They've been doing outdoor sidewalk concerts. My friend Tom Thayer over there at DBA said it was the best weekend of 2020 in New Orleans. People partying in the streets. DBA has an outdoor bar, and they're having the bands play across the street so people can hang out and have drinks and listen to music on Freshman Street. We're trying to put the fun back out there, folks. It gets harder and harder, but we're all in this together. We're going to entertain each other until everybody's safe enough to get back to entertaining us. And talk about a tough ticket. Wait till you try to buy a concert ticket or for anything that first round. But, there's stuff happening. You want to go to Nashville or Florida or Texas, these places are raging right now. Staten Island, New York, do you see the numbers over there? Our friends in Staten Island, buckle up. So a couple of the program notes. So, we will be moving time slots. Next Monday, we will switch to a 4:20 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. So you're going to catch us at 4:20 on the East Coast. That's 1:20 here. And for our folks over there in Europe, that's like 9:20 at night. So I'm hoping to get some more participation from our European brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers out there. Every day's an adventure, folks. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing, for caring. Show 171, week 35 of my folly, my distraction, coming to you to take you away from the minutiae of the day. Haven't heard that one for a while. But I can't stop because this is all I got. This is it. Me, you, here, 4:20. We're just going to switch time zones, and that way it won't be dark. Like right now, it's pitch black outside already. It's 5 o'clock, 5:15 in LA, and I'm dying over here. All right, guys, have a great night. We will see you tomorrow, and peace, love, happiness to everybody out there. A big hug. Cheers to everybody. Woo. Drinking and webcasting. It's a future. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.